folks, Free Play Frank. Hope you all had a fun Halloween. I was planning on doing a Halloween episode this year, but unfortunately I got too much going on to make that happen. Hopefully next year. This week I got part 3 of the crusher build. We're going to crush some concrete this time. And then later I'm going to play one of the coolest Elton John songs, Saturday Night's Alright for Fighting. Alright, let's go. Well, here's the brackets for the vibrator shaft tacked together. I just got it sitting on here with 2 bolts, and I cut the pulley down, so I left half the pulley, or a little less than half the pulley, so when this spins, this will be a heavy weight all around, so it's going to vibrate. So it's supposed to spin at around 1,000 RPM from my calculations by the pulley sizes. So we might have to either trim more of this or add more weight to it depending on how it works. I want to get it to vibrate at the right consistency to feed the material through the crusher properly. And here's how you set the depth of the jaws to regulate how thick the material crushes. You loosen these nuts off here. There used to be 2 because this was extended way out here because they had it cranked in all the way to crush glass, so they were crushing down to nothing. But once we welded up the jaws and restored the thickness of the jaws again, they're actually jamming, so it wouldn't even turn all the way. So I backed this off and I got it down this far, and it's crushing. It'll crush now at about 3/4 minus. So this thing here is actually a nut. You put a wrench on it and you turn it and you loosen this, and then this whole thing attaches to the toggle plate and it slides back. And this nut here moves this shaft up and down, and below that shaft, that's a wedge. It's a solid steel wedge, and then the farther down it goes, the farther back the jaw comes, so the bigger the pieces are going to crush coming out of the crusher. And then this spring here, this is just to hold pressure on the toggle plate so that it doesn't come apart while you're crushing. And it's regulated by these nuts here, and you can see I had to crank it in about maybe 6 turns or something like that to get a little more tension on this. And this one was like this when I got it. The jam nut was backed way off to here, so I'm not sure how this is going to work, but I don't think it'll come loose. But we're going to try it anyways like this and see how it goes. And then also you have 1, 2, 3, 4 grease fittings, and you can see it's got these little things on here. These are for oil. You have an oiler, the same kind of oiler as I use for my lathe, but I'm betting that they were taking these out and pumping it full of grease. Like this one's not even, like it's just a bolt holding it, and you can see it's got grease down in there. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to pump them full of grease, and this one here lubricates a toggle plate. So pull this piece of rubber off and there'll be a grease fitting underneath that. Get this all lubed up and ready to run. There, I cut those pieces out for the belt clearance and cut them out with a zip cut and flipped it around the other way and welded her in there with a MIG welder. Sure as heck ain't very nice welds, but this is really tight area for somebody my size to get in the weld. Reminds me of a funny story. Back in the day, I knew this old-time Englishman who used to weld on the ships back in England. He was about 5'1" and 60 pounds soaking wet, and we used to call him the Weasel because he could get in anywhere and weld. And one time he welded a box on the back of a truck, and he had so much bracing in under there. I was in there for like 2 hours with a torch trying to cut it all out because we had to change it from a flat deck into a dump box. And yeah, it was quite the character, the old Weasel. Too bad he's not with us anymore. And adding some more baffling to direct the crush down into the belt. See, I made a bracket here out of angle iron, welded it on there. This is just 16 gauge galvanized sheet metal, and welded on down there. Oh, hello. Here we go. Look who's come to visit us. Hi, sweetie. This is Mummy's baby. This is one of my goats. Her name is Mummy's baby. She's about 6 years old. She has a baby around here somewhere. I'm not sure where she is. There's a couple more ladies there hanging out in the shop here with their dad. Here's a bracket I made to help support the weight of the conveyor belt. Once you get a couple 100 pounds of rock on it, it might have a tendency to sag, so I want a little bit of support for it there that's removable. Alright, got these all welded in there. And got this bracket all welded on here now. There, I put this guard over top of the crusher head to stop the rocks from bouncing up over the top of the crusher and damaging the grease fittings and stuff. There, I put the infeed table back on to check the fit of my mounts for my shaker shaft or vibrator shaft. Seems I screwed up the measurements and it's too far this way, about 2 inches. It should be, the depth is about right. It should be about here, because you can see the shaft, you can see this big thing here that I've got trimmed out of this pulley for the vibrator counterweight. It's going to take a fair amount of trimming. I knew I was going to have to trim these anyways to clear that shaft, but it's going to have to trim out more than I thought now. And there is enough room to fit that vibrator counterweight thing in between this bracket and this bracket. So that I won't have to have it out here. I don't want it hanging all the way out here. And I am going to build a cage around that thing, a steel plate on the outside and probably one on the inside too, because if that ever were to shatter, somebody be standing here sorting the gravel through the machine, and end up losing some valuable parts, if you know what I mean. And then another thing I have to do now, since I got the jaws installed, I have to make a plate to fill in this area and then some pieces on the side here to guide the rocks down into the crusher. Alright, she's in. I have to trim quite a bit of that sheet metal out of there, but clears everything now. So now I just have to get a belt the right length. Well, here's my cardboard templates for the pieces I have to make to join the feeder chute to the crusher head. And here's another one of my favorite tricks. If I start cutting on the cardboard and it ends up being too small, plus 3.5, that just means that I'm going to add another 3.5 inch here so that it ends up filling in the whole side here where it meets up with this lower plate. Alright, there's the pieces all tacked in place. I'm going to put a step on this side so I can stand on there and sort the rocks in the hopper. Got the motor mounted in place, just have to weld her up solid. I got it tacked. And I made a crank for the handle to tighten it. Got the belts tightened up where it's going to be, so I think this should work pretty good. There's lots of clearance. Okay, I got all the welding done. I got her painted. So I still have to make belt guards for it. And I have the belt guard for this side that came with the machine, and that fits on there. I just have to modify one corner. So I'll have to make a belt guard for this main drive shaft here and the part where the belts come up to the engine. See what the front looks like here. And I'm still waiting for this belt here to go from that orange pulley there to the back to drive the vibrator shaft. So as soon as that comes in here, I'll get that installed and then we'll fire it up and see how she works. works great. Well, the next thing I gotta do is I gotta put belt guards on it and a cover for the engine. And here's the product it makes. See, it crushes down to about 3/4 minus. I don't think you could ask for better gravel than that for mixing in concrete or fixing your driveway.
Well, it's getting late, haven't seen my man. Well, I'll tell you when the boys get here. It's 7 o'clock and I wanna rock, and I get a belly full of beer. My old man's a drunkard and a barrel full of monkeys, and my old lady, she don't care. My sister looks cute in her braces and boots, a handful of grease in her hair. Oh, don't give me none of your aggravation or how with your discipline. The Saturday night's alright for fighting, get a little action in. Get about as old as a diesel train, get a sex and dance at night. The Saturday night's a night I like, Saturday night's alright, alright, alright. Was getting pretty packed to here tonight. They're looking for a dollar to see me right. I'm using a little muscle to get what I need. I can sink a little drainage out of she's of Mary. Getting rid of the things that I really like. Now the sound of the secret in a motorbike. My juvenile product of a weekend class, whose best friend floats in the bottom of a glass. Oh, how with your discipline. The Saturday night's alright for fighting, get a little action in. Get about as old as a diesel train, trying to set this night at night. Saturday night's a night I like, Saturday night's alright, alright, alright. Ooh. Well, Saturday night's a night for fighting, get a little action in. Get a body's old as a diesel train, trying to set this night alight. Well, Saturday night's a night I like, Saturday night's alright, alright, alright. Saturday, 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 Saturday night's alright. Saturday, 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 Saturday night's alright. Saturday, 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 Saturday night's alright. Alright, there you have it. Saturday Night's Alright for Fighting off Elton John's Goodbye Yellow Brick Road album. Thanks guys for joining me tonight. I'll see you all next time. Take her easy.